Hey everybody, let's get into this next example. Now, I'm going to rewrite it as I talk about it. Obviously, you don't really need to rewrite it, although I do feel that you are less likely to misread or misinterpret something if you take a good solid step at the beginning of any problem to really rewrite what is typed. Not always just starting to write underneath it, but you got to be careful either way. So I have a 2 on top, and while I write, let's kind of go back and forth here, and an 8 on bottom. They are comparable. They are coefficients. They can reduce. I can reduce 2 out of this and a 2 out of this. The prime factorization of 8 is 2 to the third, or 2 times 2 times 2. So if I get rid of a 2 and a 2, I'm left with a 1 on top, not nothing. And I'm left with 2 times 2, or 4 on bottom. Talking it out before I even do it, right? Now here I have x to the 4 and I have x to the 7. They are comparable and they can reduce. That can leave us with 3 x's, x times x times x, not a 3x, but the product of x times x times x on bottom, also known as x to the third in our denominator. All right, last bit here, y to the negative 4, you are going to go down to the denominator, and y to the third. Nowhere in here is this negative 7. Nowhere in here is this positive 7. Negative 12, positive 12. No. Stop trying to make your own rules and shortcuts. If you did that, no. Shame. Very bad. So let's get moving. And notice I don't use equal signs. This is not an equation you're not solving. This is an expression. So really, I'm kind of like this yields this, like almost like the arrow approach that you might use in like chemistry, something like that. So I'm drawing arrows and showing the next step. I'm not throwing equal signs in there. You guys sometimes really overuse equal signs and stick them in inappropriate places, so you gotta watch that. So on top, if that's a 1, if there's something else in the numerator, you really don't need the 1, but we don't know right now. So I'm gonna write the 1. The 8 is going to be a 4, 1/4 instead of 2 eighths. X to the third. You subtract powers when like bases are being divided, and I always subtract in the direction of the bigger, stronger power. Okay, more powerful, right? Now here, I'll break this part up a little into 2 steps, but y to the 4th relocates down to the bottom. The power becomes positive in the process, and y to the 3rd is waiting for it. They're going to buddy up in our last step here. So that 1 was definitely needed because it's all by itself. And what do we have? We have 4 x to the 3rd, y to the 7. And that's all there is to it. This is another way to look at this is 1/4 of 1 over x to the 3rd and y to the 7th in the bottom. Other ways I've seen answers like this like stumbled upon in work is sometimes people are like, oh, I worked it out. I know my numerator is supposed to be 1/4, but my denominator is this, x to the 3rd and this y to the 7. Don't do this, okay? Is this the same thing? Yeah, but don't do this. No. The 1/4, I kind of imagine like that game Whack-A-Mole, right? At the amusement park or the crocodiles or something, they pop up. I kind of push that down until this line lines up with this line. The 1 stays on top and the 4 goes back to the bottom. How is that allowed? I mean, you could even think of this whole thing as being over 1, and then this is being multiplied by this reciprocal, blah, blah, blah. I promise you get this answer. You want to test me? You want to check me? Go ahead, you do it. I promise you get the same thing. If you don't, you messed up, but promise. So best answer, this cutie pie right over here. To see number 35, click the box on the screen, jump to the playlist, click that box, and have a great time. Check in the rest of yours.